Hi, and welcome to the screencast in which I'm going to show you, now having worked through what were the duplicates, marked things as relevant and irrelevant. You're now on to the next step, which is inclusion and exclusion criteria. And I suggested that some of the criteria could be, for an example, it was a test tube study, so it wasn't done in the field. It could be that you only want to include randomized controlled trials, not just observational studies. And there could be others as well. So you're not limited to the list that was provided with this page, and it's worth sort of having a think about what's important to you. Now, I haven't at this point processed everything. So I'm back sort of where we were at the completion of the screencast for how to include and exclude, to give you a flavour of what we might do. And so in this, starting here, we're going to open the paper. We're going to look at the title again, we're going to read the abstract, and if necessary skim through the paper to see if it meets our inclusion or exclusion criteria. And let's say our criteria was we didn't want anything that was a sort of a test tube study, and you can see here that they are incubating cells. Okay, so I would go down here and I would write exclude, and I would say lab study or something to that effect. So I'm doing two things. I'm labeling it as excluded and I'm giving the reason why. Okay, and so again, I save those changes, or if I don't save them, and I never tick this because if I make a change I want to remember to save it and I often forget. So I say yes. The paper still remains there because remember, this group is about relevant or not relevant. If I want to find the excluded, I'm going to create a smart group, and I could say excluded, and I want research notes, and I want it to contain exclude. And again, I have that paper. Now, the other sort of thing I might want to do is create a smart group, of course, to show me the included. Again, I go to research notes, again I select contain, and I say include. Not surprisingly, nothing is there. Whoops, it hasn't been named, so I'm going to rename that group and I'm going to call it include. And now I'm going back to the relevant papers. I'm going to look at this one and I'm going to decide that I do want to include this one, and so that stays. And if I've done it all right, which I have, I now have an exclude, I now have an include. Okay, and so with doing that, I'm able to track back down exactly what's happened, and be always able to go back through, and because I tagged the excluded with the reason why, I can go back and I can actually determine what the values should be for each step of the flow diagram. I hope you find this useful. Any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.